And I've seen research saying that being unique is actually a huge part of building attraction. It's part of attraction. So being unique versus just being kind of like a 10 physical attraction-wise, unique trumps that.
How important is physical attraction in a new relationship?
Oh, you're looking at me. Well, I'm going to take two sides of the equation because for guys, it's huge. I mean, guys initially go to that primal response. Do I want to sleep with this woman?
Yeah.
Okay. It is very big for women for a split second. And then we're moving on to more of the rational. Is this maybe a good person for me and things like that? So physical attraction, we even have different numbering systems. Guys are looking for that 8, 9, 10. Women quite often will have, okay, anything above a 6, if he can provide for me, if he could be a good baby daddy, these start to come into play. So yes, it's important. I would love it to be physically attraction should be important all the way through. But I think it is much more important for guys as to how they respond. So,
when you take a look at, there was a recent brain scanning study on this, and the two parts of the brain that become activated when you first look at somebody is one, the brain region, is he physically attractive? Or is she? And the second is, what's their personality like? Those are the two brain regions that become active, both at the same time.
I'd love you guys to do a study on the numbers, though, where women cut off physical attraction and men cut off physical attraction to see if there's a difference in that.
Yeah.
And I've seen research on that when someone's looking at sustaining a long-term relationship, right? The personality trumps that. And here's another thing I found that I think is actually really cool, that attractions, a part of attraction also is being unique, right? Beyond sort of physical attraction. So actually, I've seen studies where they found that, I think OkCupid, there's some different sites have done different research, and I've seen research saying that being unique is actually a huge part of building attraction. It's part of attraction. So being unique versus just being kind of like a 10 physical attraction-wise, unique trumps that.
Yeah.
So that.
But how about sense of humor now? Sense of humor
So and that could
is
be
one
part
of
of
the
being
biggest
unique.
attraction. I mean, that's not necessarily physical, but you can see it across the room.
Right.
You can have, from a guy's point of view, you can be a pretty, ugly-looking man,
And if you make us laugh,
and if you can make the crowd laugh,
For good Darwinian reasons.
Okay, but
it's amazing what you can substitute for what you lack in.
Attraction.
Right.
That's not traditional
correct.
physical attraction.
But,
So
but from a guy's point of view, physical attraction is, the legs, the ass,
Right.
And there's a threat.
Do you want to sleep
and the
with
boobs. Right. From, initially.
And it's different for different men, which is kind of cool. It's different, right?
Right.
But the other thing is, I completely agree. That's what my feedback bears out too, that for men, so I work with men and women.
Yes.
And there's a certain threshold a woman has to meet for any particular man.
Yeah.
And it's different for every man. But they have to, before he's willing to kind of look under the hood, before he's willing to see if there's connection, he wants connection at all these different levels if he wants a committed relationship with someone, but he's not willing to look for that connection until he first has a physical.
Exactly.
Versus women are sometimes able to kind of say, well, time, as I get to know him better, maybe his attraction is going to grow.
Yeah.
So if he's got this other stuff. So I completely agree. But
there
here's
is
the
another
other
question
thing.
I'd like to raise.
One more thing, though, that I think is important to keep in mind is this whole halo effect, right? So we sometimes associate with physical attraction some other traits like brain, like being intelligent, being smart, being kind. So it can be kind of difficult to separate. I don't know if you've seen any research to separate out that whole halo effect and this association of physical attraction with everything else, to kind of really separate out physical attraction versus I'm just thinking this person is X, Y, and Z also because of the halo effect.
Because, I asked a question in this Match.com Singles in America survey. Would you make a long-term commitment to somebody who had everything you were looking for, but you were not in love with them? And the other question was, would you make a long-term commitment to somebody who had everything you were looking for, but you were not sexually attracted to them?
Right.
And there's more men that would say yes than women.
Huh.
Interesting.
And my young men.
Right.
And my hypothesis is that the young men have to find the right girl to raise their babies.
Yeah.
And they might not feel that intense attraction for a really great woman. They might want a barmaid who's, doesn't barely, but they're going to pick somebody with the less sexual attraction if they've got everything else.
Gotcha.
And as you get older, physical attraction remains very strong. In women over 60, they are the least likely to have a long-term relationship with a man who they do not feel physically attracted to.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And it's because it's part of the reproductive strategy.
Yeah. So it sounds like when it comes to falling in love, physical attraction is incredibly important. but that we get to it in different ways. A lot of us grow into our attraction to another person. So if you're out there on a first date with someone and you're not quite sure if they have it, try again. Go out with them again. We all recommend that you do.